Welcome to Hard Choices. It's October, and that means a special episode to celebrate Halloween, the sexiest of October holidays. Granted, it's not a strong field. Yom Kippur, Columbus Day, Canadian Thanksgiving. Diwali can get it. But anyway, Halloween is far and away the sexiest holiday of the month, probably of the year. And the reason is monsters. The rest of those holidays that I just mentioned, they only have 2 monsters combined. And Ravana is only in the backstory of Diwali, and Christopher Columbus can go to hell. Other than that, Halloween has a monopoly on monsters, thus the annual tradition of watching monster movies in October, thus our agenda today, ranking 21 iconic movie monsters to find the median, the zenith, and the nadir of cinematic monster fucks. When we're done, we'll throw all of our hot takes into the telepod and recombine them into a grotesque, yet definitive and erotic ranking of the most fuckable monsters in Hollywood history. But as always in the monster movie milieu, nobody gives a fuck if everything adds up in the end, as long as we get a truly gratuitous amount of screaming, squirming, toplessness, weird appendages, and dripping bodily fluids along the way. I'm Kris Newton, the arrogant mastermind who can definitely keep this experiment under control. With me, harmlessly rattling their cages with unquenchable thirst, are Lillian Carlisle.
In space, no one can hear your safe word.
MeganBob.
I'm always here. But I'm here to fuck monsters this time, and it matters, goddammit.
Name me one episode where you have not been here to fuck monsters. Even one. Even the Disney one.
The musicals one!
I know. Look, contentious. Go listen to the episode.
And Stella Cheeks.
Monster mash, more like monster smash.
Oh my god, thank God somebody said that.
The coffin bangers are about to arrive.
Now, we're about to enter the domain of some very dangerous, very horny monsters who, fingers crossed, may be hunting for us. So I suggest that we split up. But before we do, MeganBob, for the benefit of listeners who may have missed previous installments of Hard Choices, can you define what fuckability is, even though everyone in this conversation knows already?
Yes. Fuckability is not about what they look like. Thank God for this particular episode. It's about what they fuck like. So assume that you are into them, they are into you. How good is the sex, and what is it like?
With that, it's time to reveal the 21 movie monsters we'll be ranking today, as well as a handful of monsters who were either too horrible or not horrible enough to make the cut. Let's begin with honorable mentions.
So the first one is The Blob. From 1958's The Blob, or 1972's Beware the Blob, or 1988's The Blob. Take your pick. A blob is a blob is a blob, as Gertrude Stein wrote while being slowly devoured. If you got certain kinks, there's no doubt that you could have a good time with the blob, but it may not be sentient. And anyway, the distinction between having sex with the blob and having sex in the blob is too fine for Hard Choices purposes.
Also on honorable mentions is Billy Butcherson, the zombie from Hocus Pocus. This one hurts. I think we're all a little wounded here. It's Doug Jones, which is, that's good enough. But it's also that he's a beleaguered zombie boyfriend. And then whenever he gets to talk again, he's so sassy.
He's just a good boy. He's there. He's pretty ride or die.
He is.
Literally.
He's protective of children.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, no, there's nothing. Look. A lot of the monsters on this list are fuck material. I think we can all agree on that. Billy Butcherson is boyfriend material. And that's...
He would be such
material.
A wife guy. Like, Sarah wasn't the right
Billy.
one for him because of, her sisters, but he's a hardcore wife guy, and we love a wife guy.
He's too good for this list.
Oh my God.
He's too good for this list.
He is too good for this list.
Also in honorable mentions, Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th franchise. In the great slasher movie canon, Jason is also there. He has mommy issues, and he's certainly creative, but I'll be honest, we just don't think he has enough personality for Hard Choices, and one of us wanted to put a literal fucking shark on the list.
Speaking of the shark, here's the thing. Jaws, one of the great movie monsters. Cannot be argued, cannot be questioned. He's a shark. He has a shark's intellect. On its face, this seems to be disqualifying. However, in the novelization of Jaws 4, it's revealed that Jaws can target the Brody family because of a voodoo curse on the family that compels it to seek them out. And when doing this, Jaws shows greater than normal shark intelligence. So I pitched a scenario to Bob in which Jaws has been voodoo cursed into needing to fuck us, and therefore has the supernatural cunning to pleasure us in any way that it sees fit. But Bob said no. So, shark fans, direct all complaints to MeganBob. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure I'll be like a deluge of complaints about me drawing the line.
Yeah, from me, Bob.
Fucking Jaws. Okay. Oh my god. Shit, I'm changing my email.
So that's honorable mentions. Now, an appropriately long time into the episode, let's finally take a look at the 21 movie monsters that we're actually going to be discussing today.
Number 1, the Asset from The Shape of Water. An amphibian humanoid once worshipped as a god by communities in South America. Possibly because of his magical healing powers? Or his impeccable fish abs? Or because he's Doug Jones?
Number 2, Mr. Babadook. A clawed boogeyman in a coat and hat from the Babadook, who symbolizes the stages of grieving. He's been adopted as a tongue-in-cheek queer sex symbol, because fuck grief. But also maybe fuck grief?
Number 3, Beetlejuice, the self-proclaimed ghost with the most from the film with the same name. The most what? Whatever it is. If I know Tim Burton, it's got black and white stripes and a little stop-motion head at the end of it. Could be fun.
Number 4, Seth Brundle, inventor turned insect from The Fly. Each host is permitted to consider Brundle at any point on his transition from scientist to slimy fly guy. At certain points, it would be pretty tough to fuck Brundle, just on a practical level, but life finds a way.
Number 5, Candyman, smooth-voiced urban legend from the film series that bears his name. He's hard to describe if you've never seen the movies. Suffice it to say that he's a murderer who's full of bees, but that's not necessarily a deal breaker.
Mm-hmm. Number 6, Chucky, a murderous possessed doll from the Child's Play franchise, who must rank as one of history's unsafest and least aesthetic sex toys. Doesn't need batteries, though.
Representing vampires, Count Dracula from Werner Herzog's Nosferatu, the Vampire, a figure of horror so gothic that it borders on emo. Also fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8, Frankenstein's monster from 1931's Frankenstein and its sequels. Probably the most beloved assemblage of corpses associated with any holiday, with Turducken coming in a distant second.
Number 9, Freddy Krueger, the clawed and besweatered nightmare slasher from the horror franchise A Nightmare on Elm Street. How sexy is he? Did you ever inspire a nursery rhyme that's a metaphor for problem masturbation?
Number 10, Gozer the Gozerian, gender-fluid Sumerian destroyer god and part-time marshmallow kaiju from the Ghostbusters franchise. There is no MeganBob. There is only drool.
Number 11, Gremlins, scaly, malicious little bastards from the franchise of the same name. We're considering the Gremlins as a group because they do everything as an unruly mob, so why would fucking be any different?
Number 12, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the iconic dual-identity monster who inspired characters like the Hulk. We're not evaluating any particular cinematic Jekyll and Hyde, but just the universal archetype itself. We all have two wolves inside us, Dr. Wolf and Mr. Wolf.
Number 13, the Leprechaun from the Leprechaun series, who's actually a different guy in different movies, but fuck it, we're not obliged to treat these stupid movies with more nuance than they treated all of Ireland.
Number 14, representing werewolves, Lucian, the lichen progenitor from the Underworld franchise. Technically, a lichen is different from a werewolf, according to the Underworld lore, but we're not here to split hairs. He can knot you, or he can do the pants and bare chest look, but not at the same time. That's a werewolf.
Number 15, The Monster's Bride, the intended undead mate with the white streak hair from The Bride of Frankenstein. Note that despite the misleading title, she is not the Bride of Frankenstein. In my fanfic, that's me. I'm the wife. That's me. But we're not here to discuss my monster fanfic. Or are we? TBD.
Number 16, Pennywise, the nightmarish clown monster from Stephen King's It, a film that breaks new ground in the field of Tim Curry fuckability by asking, okay, what if he were a clown in a sewer? What then?
Number 17, Pinhead, the sadistic Cenobite priest of hell from the Hellraiser franchise. Not to be confused with Zippy the Pinhead, whom you should never fuck because that guy has perpetual stubble on his chin. Forget about pins coming out of your face. That shit's what hurts.
Number 18, Predators, from the Predator film franchise. Each host can choose whichever individual predator they find most fuckable. Whether it's the missile one, the knife one, the one with the lasso, the one with the bird. You know, any of the predators from those films I've definitely seen.
Number 19, Syl, alien-blooded femme fatale from Species. Syl is halfway human, alternating forms between a beautiful blonde woman and a monster who kills men and makes babies. Why, yes, the writer and director were men. Why did you ask?
Number 20, The Thing from 1982's The Thing, an amorphous alien entity who can feign humanity most of the time. Think of all the times you've wished your sexual partner could do that.
And finally, number 21, Xenomorphs, shiny, bug-looking aliens from the Alien franchise. We thought about nailing down how xenomorph reproduction works for this episode, but we've gotten through the whole goddamn multimedia franchise without the creators figuring it out so far, so the podcast will be fine.
The music is playing. The lights are low. Like very, very low. It's scarier this way. Also cheaper. It's time to wander into these dark corridors with our median monsters. Lillian, who is your number 11?
Beetlejuice. On the one hand, he is absolutely the kind of guy who will tell you to go down on him, and then you do, and then he lets loose the loudest, smelliest fart right in your face and laughs his fucking head off. But on the other hand, he definitely knows how to party, and that scene with Lydia where they're having the heart-to-heart hints that he has some hidden depths, so I might take that fart in the face. We'll see.
There's really a bellwether for the rest of the list, the median, isn't it? MeganBob, who is your number 11?
Gremlins. Like, because I think the chaos gremlin, like as a category of fuck, is just perennially underrated in life. And now, I am not into being pranked during sex, but being pranked into a sexual situation by like a monster or a set of monsters that are super horny for me, I'm like, go on, like read me the rest of your fanfic.
Stella, who is your number 11?
I feel like this is going to be contentious, but hear me out. Mine is Gozer is my number 11. Gozer's very fucking hot, and like, I feel like the sex would be good at first, but this entity is so used to being worshipped and being like the center of attention that I feel like they would use their seductive powers to like get me into bed, and I'd be like, yeah, we're in for a ride. This is going to be hot. And then they would be like, so you're doing it to me now. And I would have to do a lot of the work, which is fine. But like, I feel like it would be worth it. The work would be worth it, but there would be a part of me that would be grumbling like, man, I thought this would be a lot freakier. Now I'm just like down here. And you know what I mean? I feel like it would be a little bit of a letdown, but it's definitely so worth it, which is why it's like my solid like middle. But, you know, I feel like I'd be having to pull a double shift here.
I hate it whenever that happens in sex.
My number 11 is Freddy Krueger, in a very uncomfortable place for me on the list, torn between two things that I was struggling with all through this list, which is, I guess it's better for me to have a sense of humor, like to be at least a little playful, than to just be safe in terms of how good the sex is. I feel like Freddy Krueger could fuck you real good one time. He has all, like, if he's motivated, there's all the potential to do it. It definitely will end in your death, but I mean, that's one moment in the whole thing, right? Like if we were doing like the focus group thing and I'm like turning the dial, like that dial doesn't go all the way down to murder till the very end. So overall, these are going to be like very positive reactions to this fuck. So yeah, reluctantly, Freddy Krueger median for me. MeganBob, who is your number 12?
I know this is going to be contentious. I'm sure. I can feel it. Candyman. I know. Look, I have weird needs, I guess. But I will, like, at least somebody with the fucking enough of a god complex to treat me like a goddamn pet. Thank you. Fucking thank you. And also, like, he likes it when people talk about baby. Fuck me. I will not shut my goddamn mouth about you. But you do gotta let me wear the coat at least once.
Stella, who is your number 12?
My number 12 is the Babadook. Mostly because I feel like, I want to have sex and it will be fun. And I don't really want to have like a thesis chat afterwards. And I feel like the Babadook always wants to talk afterwards, like really discuss our feelings and like break down like what went right and what went wrong during our sex. And like, I don't want to do that every time. Also, I just feel like I've really leaned into the like adoption of like the queer media and being like, I feel like we would fuck once and be like, oh, we're friends. We're not fuck buddies. We're friends. Do you want to watch, Ab Fab and cry together? Let's do that instead. That's the vibe here, not fucking.
For me, number 12 is Lucian from Underworld. I really struggled between him and Freddy Krueger because it's like the exact opposite. Lucian seems like a good guy. I'll almost surely live. He gets more kind of heroic as we learn more about him in the Underworld franchise. But just the thing is, too, I learned about him from a YouTube video about his character where they showed a picture of like that actor, Michael Sheen, like not being a werewolf, just being a guy. And I'm sorry, but the mystique was punctured. Whatever pull I had toward this werewolf man, seeing him as a regular guy, no, because that's the version of him you're going to get in bed for sure. I feel. So yeah, number 12. I'm sorry to put you underneath an actual child murderer, but he's more my type. I don't know what to tell you. Lillian, number 12.
Chucky. He's got this like sneering asshole charisma, and I really wish that I was immune to it, but I'm not. And we know from Bride of Chucky that he's anatomically correct. If he doesn't want something from you, you are not coming. There is no way in the universe he's going to give you a good time if he's not trying to manipulate you. But if he is trying to manipulate you, it's in his best interest to give you a good time, and I think he can do it.
Okay.
Stella, you're number 13.
My number 13 is Beetlejuice. He was one that, like, objectively, I think he's pretty hot. I think Michael Keaton could get it as Beetlejuice. That's pretty good. But also, this is a Tim Burton movie, and that kind of just makes my vagina just clench close. So that's not my aesthetic. And so it's just like, so I'd really have to fight that. And then, but the reason he's not lower, because there's a section of a lot of, spoiler alert, I guess, jokesters where I'm like, okay, so the reason he's not lower is that I do feel like he does have hidden depths, right? He does definitely have a journal full of like poetry that's like halfway decent, and his persona, his persona is a lot of him covering up the fact that he has some like deep emotional hurt. So I feel like if you can like get through that, you might be able to have like one really good emotional fuck, and then you can like step away from it. So I think it's still worth it if you can get through the Tim Burton-ness of it.
That is just such a set down for Tim Burton.
Yeah.
That's like a concept.
Just for me. I get it. It makes a lot of people hot in the pants. It does the opposite for me.
That's beautiful.
For me, number 13 is Nosferatu. Speaking about emotional fucks, Jesus Christ. This guy basically dies of an emotional fuck, right? I mean, that's the arc of the film. He is able to finally like just really like dig in and have like a good cry fuck, and then just literally like curls up like a dying bug and just, which, I mean, it would feel good to do that for somebody, right? Like you'd be sad they were dead, but on the other hand, you'd also feel like, hey, like I feel like I I feel like I accomplished something. Something happened today. And like that's
today
a real
was a say something fuck day.
and look, the day after the emotional fuck, it's a rough one. I wouldn't want someone to die, so I don't have to do it. But if someone died and I therefore didn't have to do it, you know, it's like dying on the way to the dentist. That'd be fine. Lillian, number 13.
Frankenstein's monster. He's going to make the sweetest face when he comes for the first time. He's just going to get this wonderful smile, and he'll be so enthusiastic. But the thing is, as soon as you do something he doesn't like, or as soon as you're not responding, he's going to throw this giant temper tantrum, possibly break things, possibly including your neck. He's going to be clumsy as heck, so that's going to happen quickly. And even if everything goes great, like best case scenario, and it's like Bride of Frankenstein and you're the old man playing the violin for him and everything, he's the universe's butt monkey, so there'll be some kind of like misunderstanding, accident thing that ends with you dead so that villagers can burn him. And it's not even going to be sexy, it's just going to be sad.
MeganBob, who is your number 13?
Gozer. Like, they're a hot person, and that's nice. But
I'm saying.
Well, okay. Look, we're not a no. We're not a no.
It's not a no.
But highly likely to be the person that keeps me on a little chain next to a dais. Like, delicious. Yum.
On to number 14. For me, number 14 is Predator. Any Predator, take your pick. This is extremely superficial. This is some high school shit. I'm just looking at the face, I'm looking at the mouth, and I'm like, whatever. Like, less than Nosferatu, more than Leprechaun. Spoilers for number 15. And, it seems like they have some kind of a code, right? And so there's probably a way you can interact with that. There's going to be some reason. They're going to have some tradition about not killing you if X, Y, and Z. And so as long as you adhere to that, you're going to be fine. And, it's not going to be fun, but it's on this list. That's number 14. Again, Leprechaun. Number 14 for you, Lillian.
Syl. The thing with Syl, she's really hot, but it's going to be incredibly perfunctory because she only wants one thing. I don't even know how she thinks she's going to get it out of me. Maybe there's some kind of what's it called? Parthenogenesis thing she's figured out. I don't know. But it's going to be real perfunctory. And the thing is, she doesn't have, the integrated monster fuck. It's like she gives you this very business-like, by-the-numbers fuck as a hot chick, which, to be fair, isn't nothing. And then she turns into a monster and kills you, so by the time you know you had a monster fuck, you're already dead. So, see, I can't put her any higher than number 14.
Number 14, MeganBob.
Xenomorphs. She's scary. And she's willing to problem solve to get to me, which says that she's invested in this. She might be able to telepathically communicate with me, and maybe I get psychically bombarded with, I don't know, eldritch porn or whatever. And she likes to play chase. So I really do doubt that she cares if I come. But at least she cared enough to fucking hunt me properly. I want to be romanced.
Number 14, Stella.
Mine's Nosferatu. Similar reasons as you, Kris, but the reason he's a little bit high still is there is that relentless pursuit too. He has one thing on the mind and he's gonna get it. And if the one thing on the mind is me and my pleasure, it'll be a good time. Just gotta redirect him. Be like, I know we want blood, but what if we did this first? And then I'll give you blood.
Moving on to number 15. Lillian, what is your number 15?
The Gremlins. They don't have any impulse control, so I think that's going to lead to them using their teeth and their claws in a not fun way. Also, you can't use a water-based lube with them, but since they're already gremlins, they can eat you out after midnight. But the thing is, I can't get over how much unrestrained joy and excitement they would bring. Like, I think about the way that they are with junk food and watching Snow White and dancing in the bar. And even though they're going to be just like maniacal little whatever's shredding at me when they come because they're so excited, it just makes me smile. I just think of how happy they'd be, and it makes me smile.
MeganBob, who is your number 15?
Frankenstein's monster. Now, I fucking love the creature. This ain't the creature. So, pros, takes instruction, wants to be loved, big, strong monster man. Cons, major concerns about the level of control he is capable of. Sloppy sex is fun, but he a big boy. If I say harder, I don't want to be hurt in the process. Okay, well, we're all monster fuckers here. Let's be real. I don't want to be seriously hurt in the process.
Stella, you're number 15.
I feel like this one's going to be controversial. This begins my section of scientists. So mine is Jekyll and Hyde. Because in theory, Hyde is hot and fuckable and like mean, but like in a fun way. But Jekyll is whiny and focused and like all he cares about is his test tubes and his science and like he wants to take Hyde away. That's the fun part. And I have to be honest, my favorite musical of all time is Jekyll and Hyde the musical, and so I was really thinking of all of the songs in this fucking musical and of like the Jekyll ones being so emotional and sad and being like, I'm gonna break through and I'm gonna find it, and then the Hyde ones being really, really like, oh, this is going to be a good time. I'm going to go to the brothel and like fuck so hard that all of the prostitutes are like, we're in love now?
Oh my God, I love that musical too. I'm with you.
It's so good. But the Jekyll outweighs the Hyde for me because the like whiny scientist who's going to like not pay attention to me and take away my fun fuck toy is not worth it for me. It's I get too emotionally invested in Hyde for Jekyll to come ruin it for me.
Number 15 for me, as foreshadowed, is Leprechaun. This is really getting down to the dregs of the list for me already at 15. And the only thing I think is that Leprechaun seems like a being who is capable of something like love that isn't miserable / fatal. It's very different from anything we ever see from Leprechaun, but I can imagine, Leprechaun 7 or whatever, Leprechaun in Love, and there's one person in that movie having a good time. I can imagine it. Whereas lower down the list, these are characters whose love I do not require. I do not want the love of some of these monsters. This is like last stop before die rather than fuck. I
cannot wait to send you the Leprechaun fanfic stuff that is on Tumblr. It is interesting.
Kris, can I jump in? Because number 16 is also my last stop before die rather than fuck.
Go ahead.
So my 16 is Nosferatu, and it kills me to rank our only vampire this low because y'all know that I'm a dedicated coffin straddler, but it does not kill me as much as it does to watch a vampire this profoundly unsexy. It's not the rat face. I can work around the rat face. That's okay. That's not a deal breaker. But he's got this like wet-eyed, like mumbly incel vibe, and it's just it's gross. Like he seems like he'd be kind of intensely into you, but it's in a looking through your window kind of way. And I feel like he's like going to be watching you and masturbating for days, and then when you try to actually have sex, he's just gonna come in his pants the second you take off your jacket. It's not gonna work.
Why are you not into this?
Because when you actually try to have sex and nothing's gonna happen, he can't last.
Oh my God! All right, well, I'm coming back to this.
Lillian, are you going to hold out for a vampire who doesn't watch you through your window while you're sleeping? Because you're going to be waiting a long fucking time.
No, I want a vampire who watches me while I'm sleeping, but isn't so, like, kind of mumbly and you know that creepy little thing he does? Like, he sounds like No Face from Spirited Away, and it's just, like, I feel like he's just going to kind of like be reaching for me, and I'm gonna be lying there ready for it. Like, here's my vampire fuck. I've been waiting for this my whole life. And be like,
just one eye open.
Oh shit! I'm done. I'm done already. Hang on.
That's why I put my bed under the fucking window, and I get this guy.
Yes.
Number 16, MeganBob.
All right, we've hit a no for me. It's The Bride of Frankenstein. She needs actual care, time, and attention. Slow burn romance, easily the top of the list. In the fast-paced, cutthroat world of monster fucking, no, you cannot be coasting on these good looks and delicate sensibilities. I am sorry, I came here to get railed and you will not do it.
Wow. I mean, I was going to say unpack that, but there's nothing you can say. I just...
You met me.
Stella, number 16.
Okay, my number 16 is The Thing, and it's not unfuckable, but my take on The Thing is that The Thing is like an unsentient fungus that doesn't, and it doesn't, when it takes over a human and then the human has all of the memories and stuff, that human doesn't realize that they're a thing until they explode. That's my take on the film. So by the time The Thing is put together, it's just a regular ass human, because when it explodes, it's not really doing any fucking. But hear me out. If we just let the thing take over the entire world and then we're all things because our memories are there and then nobody needs to explode for safety reasons, then we can start exploding for sex reasons. And I think that it would be really fun. So we have to let the thing take over the world. Sorry, Mac. But once we get there, there is a level of sentience there, and then we can do some exploring with our goops and our tentacles and we can smash our faces together. What would that be like? Would that be romantic? It might be.
I am so here for this TED Talk on why we should let the thing take over.
I think we should. It's actually a pretty viable plan. Everybody would have their same memories. It's like a transporter. If you go through the transporter, do you die and then you come back as just a copy of yourself? The thing is just a copy of you, but you have like fun goop inside. Anyways,
Stella Cheeks, strong takes on why we should let the thing for everything 2023.
Yeah. That's how we solve our problems. Become the thing.
It's campaign
it's like
slogan.
They Live.
Goof inside.
Right. It's like kind of like They Live. We like let them take over, but in this side, we're all benefiting from the takeover.
I'll be talking about The Thing later. My number 16 is Chucky. Chucky, right under Leprechaun, because same kind of issue with just like weird, creepy little, like, I don't know, you're going to have this like malicious tiny being crawling all over you. It doesn't, and like the sense of humor that I don't think really conveys to a sexual situation. But with Chucky, the mindset is just, it's going to be like, he might think it's sexy, but I guess I don't trust Chucky to empathize with me enough to know, like, to understand what I like and what I want, especially with the faces I'm going to be making if Chucky's trying to fuck me. In his defense, that would be hard to read. So that's my number 16. Number 17, Stella, your number 17.
My number 17 is going to close out my scientist section and is going to be The Fly. I think he's the sexiest in the middle, where he's like still kind of looking like a dude, but is kind of like fucked up. From there to full on Fly, pretty fuckable, I think. From there to regular Jeff Goldblum, hard pass for me. But the reason he's like super low for me is like, again, the scientist, the relentless thing I'm having. I didn't consent to being a part of your experiment, dude. I just came here for a fuck. And like every time I come here, there's a new experiment going on. That's not what I'm here for. But I do think that the middle section is the sweet section. Though also once he turns into a fly, there's the whole like feces thing that you have to go through. Like, I know it's not in the movie, but like, I think Fly, I think gross, rotting food and poop and stuff. And so that's kind of, I no kink shaming, but like, that's not what I'm here for. So yeah, he's pretty low for me because it's not the fun goop like The Thing. It's just a lot of goop. It's not sentient goop. It's just, oh, your skin came off. All right. You can roll with this.
It does make a difference that he doesn't know. Because, like, if someone prepared you for that, like, oh, this is going to be hot, my finger's going to come off, I am game enough to be like, okay, sure. Like, fine, like, I can get into it. But if he doesn't know, no, fuck that.
Exactly. Like, oh, every time I show up, it's a different thing. I'm too busy for this. Please call me. Please call me when you've figured it out.
My number 17 is Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice, I do believe in his ability to form like a strong connection and fall in love. I think the read on him that he has like another deeper level is a good one. But I also think that the sense of humor almost is worse when it's not antagonistic. Like if he's trying to hurt you, like trying to mess with you by being gross, trying to scare you, then that's one thing. But I think he's going to do roughly the same sort of act if he loves you as like a gift, as like, aren't we having a great time? And no, we are not. This is not. I don't want to eat bugs. I don't want to have this weird like claymation stuff coming out of your face or whatever you're going to try to pull with me. And the fact that you are then afterward looking at me like, huh? Like, isn't this great? That is so much worse. It's so much worse.
His praise kink is out of control for sure.
Yeah. Real performer. Number 17, Lillian.
My number 17 is the Babadook, because he represents depression, and I get raw dogged by depression on a regular basis, and I do not recommend it. And anyone lower than the Babadook, I would officially rather be sitting at home alone in a depressive spiral with nothing but Ben and Jerry's in my tears. So that's high compliments for 18 down, I gotta say.
MeganBob, you're number 17.
Pennywise. Like, his come on move is being nice. Nice? I don't know who you think you are fucking here, but if you try that shit with me, this is going to end very poorly indeed. Like, okay, the interest in eating and sleeping, we could maybe have a roommate situation. This could work. Sex? No. I am sorry. I will fuck him for the purposes of this podcast, but this is purely out of contractual obligation.
My number 18 is The Babadook. Really a complex movie, really a complex, like, metaphor to try to dig into, and the way that The Babadook ends, where, like, you kind of tame this feeling and, like, have it in this, like, wild but contained place in your life where you can move on. It was too complicated to assess in that way. And so instead what I thought about is, what if you fucked somebody, but then after you fucked them, they wouldn't stop yelling at you and wouldn't let you go to sleep? Disqualifying. Doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter. Anyone else on this list, if they yelled at me and wouldn't let me go to sleep, get the fuck out. Doesn't matter. And so there's no chance. Like, even if you were not the embodiment of grief and depression, just like, I can't get a good night's sleep. No, I will literally kill you. Number 18, Lillian.
The Fly. So first off, there's the unsexy body horror aspect. I'm into some good body horror, but not The Fly's kind of body horror. He's the only one on this list where I'm worried that his dick might break off mid-thrust. It's not good.
It's a worry.
Yeah. But there's also, like, that's only at the end, so maybe earlier, when he is, like, has all the stamina and everything. That's a possibility. But the thing is, with some of the other people on this list, the worst case scenario is that they kill you when they're done, and then you're done with them forever, right? But with Seth Brundle, he is going to be at your door 24/7 for the rest of your life, demanding you go into his machine and merge with him and spend the rest of your life bound to this needy sad sack who's slowly rotting. Nope. Everything I have against Nosferatu times a million.
That's such a good point. He does want to, like, merge with you forever. Ugh, heinous.
Just you have sex with him once and he brings the U-Haul. Just no.
Oh, no.
That is absolutely the worst. I want to revise. But that's, yeah, okay. Because that's like, he shows up and it's like, I know you don't want to fuck me anymore, but remember when we were talking about crypto? Let me just... MeganBob, you're number 18.
Big feels. Syl from Species.
Ooh.
Horny's great. but there is no personality to this horniness. This is male gaze horniness. This is one note horniness. This is like when some people get into like those ultra hot sauces. And my first question is always like, yeah, but what does it taste like? And they just go, hot. Right, but nothing else. I'm like, why am I putting this in my mouth? Like, you got titty tentacles, sure. But I do not believe for one fucking second that you're going to use them in a way that is anything but like utilitarian. Bitch, you don't even care that you got titty tentacles. How the fuck am I meant to give a shit about them? Like, I'm sure on a technical basis, she gets the job done. But if she is not rising above the level of your common garden variety vibrator, get the fuck out.
Stella, you're number 18.
My number 18 is the Gremlins. I love the Gremlins movies. I think that they are amazing. And I think specifically the lady gremlin with the big lipstick is pretty hot. I do want to experience that. I want to make out with that gremlin and have both of our lipsticks just be all over our faces.
Yeah.
Like, that sounds great. The reason they're so low, though, is because they are very easily distractible. And I feel like it would be fun for a little bit, but then we would all end up like surprised, like on mushrooms, or like accidentally somebody put something in my drink and now we're like tripping and having a different kind of party. I feel like the sex would be good while it lasted, but it wouldn't last for a long time because between their like short attention spans, my ADHD, it would be chaos and it would be fun, but the sex wouldn't be the part that I remembered. I don't think I would remember most of it. I feel like I would wake up the next day in a puddle of gremlins and be like, what the fuck happened?
Puddle of Gremlins is my new band.
Yeah. And you know what? At least one of them recorded it, though, for sure. I look up and there's like a camera still running in the corner. And I'm like, well, you guys want to get breakfast and watch this video?
Lillian, you're number 19.
My number 19 is Freddy. I've seen every single one of these movies, including Freddy's Dead, the Not-So-Final Nightmare. And I love Freddy. He's a great villain, but he is a nasty, bullying piece of shit. And the less I'm enjoying myself, the more he's enjoying himself. I really think he cannot get off of his partners having a good time. He's got so much potential with the dream powers, but he's not going to use it for anything good.
MeganBob, you're number 19.
The Fly. I'm looking at late into the course of this Man to Fly transition, not because it's particularly, where my heart's at, but I felt like I needed to be fair and not just go, well, yes, of course I would fuck Jeff Goldblum, when he's out there being a fucky man. But there's just nothing here. Like, any desire is driven by animal instinct, and the animal instinct isn't even, calculating or interesting. And do not, to the listener, do not act like I don't have a breeding kink. You go look at my AO3 reading history, motherfucker. But you gotta breed me like you mean it, not like your fly brain is demanding it. Like, at least the xenomorph is putting in the work to get this ass.
Stella, you're number 19.
My number 19 is Pennywise, and it's a big feel for me. Full disclosure, I have read that fucking book and I've seen all these movies. So I have a lot of feelings about Pennywise and it. And my overall take about it is it's actually a book about a beautiful found family. And I can't believe we're always talking about this fucking clown. I hate this clown. And also from a fuckability standpoint, you think, oh, he can change in different shapes. He can like read your mind and know what's scary, knows what turns you on. He is so unfucking creative. Oh, you turned into a spider? Oh, cool. Oh, like all of his like the way that he scares these children. Also like going after children all the time, like boring. Like you can't scare, I mean, I guess he scares them when they're adults, but like, oh, he's just like, he chooses an easy target. He is lazy. He could be really, really interesting, but he is a lazy fuck. And he thinks that he's doing a good job because he's like, look, babe, I did tentacles. And I'm like, yeah, but you didn't do the tentacles I wanted. Those are like just the tentacles. What's the tentacle that you saw first? You didn't think about it anymore. I fucking hate Pennywise so much. What an asshole.
As an exercise for the listener, because I'm going to do this when I listen back to this episode, let's listen to that again, but replace Pennywise with Stephen King and see if it fits.
Yeah, that's fair. Yes.
My number 19 is the Xenomorph. This is where like my lack of monster fucker cred comes in, because it's not just death. Like obviously that's a factor with a lot of these, but also in the meantime, like I don't know, like the chest bursting, the face hugging, the chitinous exterior is to me is nothing. The little mouth inside the big mouth. I feel like all of these feel like tricks that I'm supposed to go like, ooh, like sexy, like that. This is what I've always wanted. A little mouth inside the big mouth, but it is nothing. I feel absolutely blank sexually toward the Xenomorph. It is just it's like a large bug. Number 20, MeganBob, you're number 20.
Babadook. I don't want amateur therapy in my fuck. Like, if you're going to take me on a tour of the 5 stages of grief, you're going to owe me one hell of a fucking pitch first.
Stella, you're number 20.
The Leprechaun. Full disclosure, I've never seen these movies, and from what I know, I don't want any part of this. This, between Pennywise, Leprechaun, and then my 21, this is what I went to college. I dated comedians. I am no longer a chuckle fucker, and these are my. Whoa. Sorry, kids. We don't have sex with comedians anymore.
We did our time.
I did my time. I cannot go to your improv show, Leprechaun. I'm sorry. So that has nothing to do with how he will fuck, because I've never seen those movies, but also I assume it would be like, thrust, here's a joke, thrust, here's a joke. Or he'd be like, look, babe, I got these, fun flavored condoms, and they're like weird, gross. They're like the Harry Potter, like jelly beans of like condoms. No. And he's like, isn't this funny? And I'm like, it's super not. Thank you.
My number 20 is Pinhead, who I expected to place higher, even though like the real serious S&M is not kind of my side of the BDSM spectrum there. But like, even so, Pinhead honestly to me seems like a poser. Not that he won't fuck you up, but in terms of the presentation, it just seems like this is a guy who spent a lot of time getting his pins arranged. Like that was the primary thing going into tonight. Not a lot of thought has been given to like, how is this going to feel good? Who does this benefit? It's a lot about like, is this weird like duster type thing the right length? Like, do I have the contacts in right? I am not interested. And I especially do not want to put my hands in the body of someone who is continually going to be looking around like, is everybody looking at this? Is everybody watching while I play this person live? Because it's going to be real cool.
Listener, you can't see us, but Stella and I are visibly clutching our pearls at this calumny against our boyfriend.
Oh, yeah, I want to unpack that just to be like, here's the misread of this character.
All right, don't worry, I'm getting it down.
Okay, yeah.
Just unpack Kris writ large. It will be a 3-on-1.
Lillian, you're number 20.
I'm with Stella, my 20's the Leprechaun. This guy is an insult to the concept of the monster fuck. He's everything bad about Freddy, but he has none of the charisma or menace. If you're a top, you could at least have a fun time with the Leprechaun because he's going to service your shoes. But otherwise, you are going to be fighting each other for the right to worship Pinhead's no doubt impeccable footwear, and you're going to win because this little twerp was defeated by a teenager with a flashlight. There's nothing good here.
Real like short hot takes at the end here. I appreciate this. It's very dismissive.
Like, not fucking these ones.
Speaking of which, let's get to the bottom of the barrel here. Number 21, Stella. Who is your number 21?
Mine is Freddy. Honestly, fuck that dude. I agree with Lillian. Like, he's not getting off if I have any sort of good time. he also is going to make jokes that I am just going to roll my eyes at. It's going to totally ruin it. Also, like, again, what are we going to murder children? That's boring. Do something interesting. Like, you like, oh, you're a big man, you murder kids. And also, like, he wouldn't use his dream powers in any fun way. At least with Pennywise, I feel like Pennywise would, like, try and he would think he was doing a good job. Like, hey, I tried this shape. And it's like, oh, okay, fine, whatever. Whereas Freddy would just not try. I'm not here for that. And he's just a dick. You know what? Like, if you're going to neg me, be creative about it. And he wouldn't be creative about it. You know?
Yeah,
and there are better monsters with, like, creepy fingers and knives. And I have no time for this dude.
My number 21 is Pennywise, pretty much for the reasons that have been stated. I just don't find anything appealing about Pennywise at all. And I will say, in contrast to the other, like, in contrast to Freddy, I don't think you're meant to ever be, like, taken in by Pennywise's powers, which is the only salvation of Freddy, right? Is that he would, like, at least know how to trick you into thinking that you are having a good fuck, like, albeit temporarily, in order to draw you in. I don't think Pennywise has the ability, like, beyond a very basic, like, hey, here's some candy level to at all, like, engage you in even a dream of a good time. So, yeah, Pennywise, rock bottom for me. How about for you, Lillian?
My rock bottom is also Pennywise, and he's a big feels. I tried so hard. Bob, this is the one that I messaged you about. There are certain members of the Oregon Trail generation, including me, who watched the ABC miniseries with Tim Curry at way too young an age and became terrified of clowns for life. And so I said, okay, maybe that's the problem here. Maybe there's something that'll help me find the sexy in Pennywise. And I tried, and I went on AO3, and I found out there's a disturbing amount of Pennywise fanfic out there. My goodness, yeah. And I read a lot of it. And there were one or two. Yeah, I tried. There were one or two that were even pretty hot, and I was like, okay, I'm starting to feel it here. But then I would read the name Pennywise, or I would read the phrase silk clown suit, or anything else that would remind me of who I was reading about, and my boner would just deflate like a red balloon. Just, there's nothing good there. I can't make myself be attracted to Pennywise.
MeganBob, who is your number 21?
Chucky. Like,
succinct.
Misogynist, generally pretty fucking bad at sex. Not always, but generally. And this, I just feel like I'm going to be jackhammered and then yelled at for not coming immediately. And I'm sorry. There is only room for one incel in my heart, and that is the one who lived under the Opera Populaire, so... Sorry. Back of the line, dumb fuck.
All right. If I'm not mistaken, that is everybody's number 21. And so we've descended down into the depths of the sewers, as it turns out, to find the least fuckable of these movie monsters. And things are looking bad. Things are looking dark. It's almost looking like we might not want to be fucked to death. But guys, I know that's not us. I know that's not who we are. Let's bring things back. Let's find some hope here in the third act. And let's turn to some more appealing monsters. And let's start with number 10. My number 10 is Jekyll and Hyde. Jekyll and Hyde, interestingly, to me, I am into pretty much for the opposite reason that he ranked low on Stella's list, which is that I am very comfortable with, like, the I hate you so much that I want to fuck your boyfriend vibe. That's fine with me. I think if any, like that gives you a direction to go. It gives you a way to kind of sublimate. Like, you can only fuck so much, but you can hate all day long. At least that's my experience.
A purpose.
And I think that dynamic, I think that gives me a project. It gives me a way to go. And, you know, if you are to believe, like, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, as Jekyll gets weaker, you get more and more Hyde. So here's this twerp. Here's this, you know, single-minded shithead who just, like, and like no moral character, just a spineless coward. But then he has this alter ego with no moral character in the fun way. And the more that I grind down the former, the more I get of the latter. So it's like a progress bar toward, like, how far let's be honest, like, degenerated, yes, but degenerated together with Mr. Hyde. So I'm super into it.
That's a really good point about the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Jekyll and Hyde. I feel like if I was thinking about that instead of David Hasselhoff, it would have ranked higher.
Lillian, who is your number 10?
My number 10 is the Xenomorph, and it's another big feels. There's an inherent eroticism to the design, and that's not nothing, but it's not all of it. I am kind of the opposite of you on that, Kris. I'm like, mouth inside a mouth. Like, kind of shiny phallic head. Like, tell me more. And so that's, that does hit me in the H.R. Geiger. But, like, the big thing with the Xenomorph is my erotic horror sweet spot is kind of this blend of fear and desire and this, like, almost religious sort of mix of submission and religious ecstasy, like, bordering on self-annihilation. It's this very, like, Eros and Thanatos coming together in a way that would make Freud pee himself. And it's kind of, there's with the Xenomorph, when Ash is rhapsodizing about it, he's not wrong. It's perfect. That thing, it's an alien, but it's also kind of a god when you look at it. That thing is a god of death. And I don't know if I'm just a weirdo here, but like sometimes if I look at something like a tiger or something like that, not that I want to fuck a tiger, but you look at a tiger and you're like, that thing should kill me. That thing is so beautiful and so powerful, and it's right to kill me. That is my place in the food chain. Yeah.
Eco-criticism is all over this. Like, yes, absolutely. When you see a beautiful, deadly thing, you should go, like, yes, consume me and take me out.
Yes, and that's how I am with the Xenomorph. Like, I would totally die in the encounter, possibly because it comes acid, but it would be just this transcendent, the big death and the little death coming together in one sublime moment of perfection, and I am here for it.
It'd be very cinematic. I'm here for that.
It would. Part of my ranking here was if I read about this sex scene in an erotic horror story, would I be getting off on the ending? And I would 100% be getting off on my death as a fucking Xenomorph.
So, MeganBob, you're number 10.
Leprechaun. Like, no, see, because I this is going to be fun for me. Because, like, he thinks that he's, like, a thirsty little motherfucker. But if I just unleashed full thirstiness on him, he's going to fall the fuck apart. That is going to be hilarious. Because I know, like, it's all possessive, it's all chaotic. But the moment he is forced to reckon with, like, Hurricane Me, just all that bravado is going to melt away. And I can just, like, push and go, you talk a big game. What is this? And now I'm just getting to enjoy, like, shaming this, like, little piece of shit. Oh, delicious.
Stella, who is your number 10?
My number 10 is Candyman. There's very few downsides. He's super hot. He's got a great coat. He's helping the, like, bee population. We could build an apiary together. I really am into urban beekeeping. That seems great. Yes. He's got modern Phantom of the Opera vibes where he's like, look, I will kill everybody in your life so that you will be mine forever. And there's something really disturbing but really, like, sweet about that.
Yeah!
And also he probably eats pussy like a champ.
No.
So there's, like, really no downside. I mean, there's the hook for the hand, but, like, you can get creative. I feel like he's got some tricks up his cool ass sleeves. But mostly I'm into it for the urban beekeeping. I gotta be honest. Also, he's local. Like, we're both in Chicago.
Ooh.
It works for me.
So 10 is like our eco-criticism level here.
Yeah.
Lillian, who is your number 9?
My number 9 is Lucian. And with Lucian, he's either just going to be hookup into you, in which case it's going to be this fierce, desperate night of animalistic passion while he's trying to forget about his lost love, or he's going to be, like, capital IY into you, and you'll get all of that wrapped around a loving, protective core, and that's just great. I am with you, Kris, that with the way the actor looks when he's not Lucian, he has a bit of a bug-eyed pirate thing going. And I was having some trouble with that. But then I was watching the movie and I got to the scene where he's been shot and he's like making the bullets spit out of his body and his eyes go blue and the fangs grow. And I was wondering exactly what my problem with him was again. So, yeah.
That is a question you have to ask. If I fuck this guy, like, who's shooting this? Is there a filter on it of some kind? Is this like spinning from overhead?
Well, will he have the blue eyes and the fangs while we're fucking? That is the only thing I care about.
MeganBob, you're number 9.
Okay, so this is important for you to know, is that I cannot watch horror films. They're too spooky. Finding Nemo is, for me, a low-key horror film. So, that is the bar. So, I have seen almost none of these. But I also have just embraced the premise of the show that I guess I make. So,
I guess I make.
Yes. So, I want this lover who can appear as anyone at any fucking time. Like, you are living in a state of perpetually being erotically hunted, and you never know when that's going to happen. I know. Some people are like, that sounds like a nightmare. Blah, 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 blah. I don't want to live in a world where I might get fucked by the grocery person. Like, you're a coward. No. I want to live in the world where, like, the UPS guy rings the doorbell and I'm like, oh, should I take off the panties now? Like, I don't know. Like, I just want to live in this world where I am constantly afraid that I'm about to be fucked.
Blowing my mind.
I know. The Thing can give this to you.
We should all be
I
the
know,
Thing.
Everybody's like going,
No. We should all be the Thing.
We should all be the Thing except MeganBob, because if they're the Thing, then they're Logan, we're coming. But if the rest of us are the Thing.
And I'm just constantly going, this is amazing.
Let's see. Stella, you're number 9.
My number 9 is the Xenomorph. For all of the opposite reasons that you said, Kris, like, all the tricks are working for me. The mouth within the mouth, like, selling point number 1. Also, like, my AO3 is also full of breeding kink, so, like, I'm sorry about it. I will apologize for my alpha and omega, like, Omega-verse reading at 0% of my life. I love it. Also, like, I don't have mommy issues, but it would be fun to explore, I think. But nothing that I can say will top anything that Lillian said. I am now like, yeah, I want this religious death experience with this hot mommy alien. Let's go.
I did promise Kris that by being on this episode, he was going to get an education, all caps.
And now I'm thinking about the acid cum. There's a lot happening.
Yeah.
That also has, like, this is a different, like, horror, but that also has, like, Reanimator vibes where it's, like, when they spill the reanimation and then on the, like, shoe and it's like, oh, it's supposed to be, like, a cum shot. And, like, oh, is this what we're doing with the hot alien, Mom? Acid cum shots? Oh, let's go.
My number 9 is the Candyman. You know, basically just because I'm like, look, I'm the vanilla one here. A mouthful of bees does it for me. I'm old-fashioned. That's all that I need. It's fine. Like, take me somewhere nice, somewhere dilapidated, somewhere full of rubble. Put me on an altar of some kind. And then just bees and call it a day. And you know what? At the end, I like to think that I would rescue the baby. Like, when the giant pyre is up, I would rescue the baby. That is, I mean, not a pleasant death to burn to death while rescuing a baby. But compared to being killed from the inside by acid cum, I feel like more meaningful.
More meaningful to the like community, sure, but more meaningful for your soul? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, if I had dreamed about it, like maybe some people have, then sure. But for me, that would come as just a surprise. And almost at that point, it's like, what did I even do to deserve this? No, I'm dead. I have no time to reflect. So,
you weren't prepared in the monastery of monsterfuck. I get it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just simply Candyman, and pretty much for I think the reasons that everybody understands it. Like, of course, you want to fuck Candyman. Number 8, MeganBob. Who is your number 8?
Big feels. Predator. So, okay. Now, you need to picture this. After negotiation with your alien lover, you wake up naked and confused. You're in a forest, armed only with a bandolier of dildos. But you know you're being watched, you're being hunted, and they know where you are and they can smell you. So you just run, and then you're forced to hide. And I could let myself be caught and it'd probably be really hot, but you didn't arrange this so you'd roll over. So then you retreat into the jungle and you're like, okay, no, I know what I'm going to do. So you must begin your work. And then the rest of the movie happens and it's all very exciting. Then we get to the end of the movie. The climax is you've covered in mud. Yeah, you've gotten all this, you fucking survived. And then you just grab your predator from behind, your hastily assembled strap-on held in a harness you made from vines, pressing against that predator ass, and you say, surprise, and I give you, the most dangerous fuck.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
I like the way that the tables turned at the end. That was good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was a surprise
twist. I like
twist.
A reversal.
Mine, okay, this is gonna... I understand that he's high, but for reasons. My number 8 is Chucky. Chucky terrorized my fucking childhood. I saw one 30-second clip of him and was terrified forever. I've still never gone back and rewatched him, even though I'm 99% sure I would be like, yeah, these are not scary. So this is a lot of me working out that and just dominating the shit out of Chucky and be like, sorry, pal, this is me. You've signed up. We've filled out our BDSM checklists and I'm going to beat the shit out of you now. And it's going to be cathartic for me and it's going to be healthy for you. And then you can go back to hot ass Jennifer Tilly and be like, I learned some things and I am ready to be a better husband to you.
You've made me horny just from this, beating the shit out of this little motherfucker.
This little doll.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
If you kick Chucky, he would leave the ground. That's what's doing it for me.
Yeah. There's a lot of things to do. You can pick him up. He's so little. There's I don't even have to learn shibari knots. I just fucking hold him with a little knot and a rope. There's a lot of things. And, he needs it, too. It's not just for me. It's for both of us.
You can have size difference, but you're the giant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm mommy in this one.
Yeah.
My number 8 is Seth Brundle. And I think from The Fly. And this is my big feel, I think. I think my only one on the list. Just because it's specific. I need time to explain. So this is for a moment in the movie. I'm identifying here with Gina Davis's character. I totally understand the thing about this character having creepy weirdo, potentially threatening vibes, but also could be a cool guy who just is a weirdo, but in a good way. So you meet him, you're negotiating this, you're trying to figure it out. Then when you get to know this person, it's like, oh yeah, totally. This is a strange person, but a funny person, a cool person, a person that I enjoy a lot. But, still kind of a tweed wearer. Then he goes in the telepod though. And you don't know what's going on here. You don't know you're in The Fly. So all you know is the next time you fuck this guy, it's unbelievable. Not just the physical part, clearly he's strong and whatever, but also the fact that at some point you have to shut it down. You have to, you got to hit him on the nose of the newspaper. No, enough. I cannot anymore. But it just keeps going. And it's I think that precise moment when it's okay, this person's eccentric and fun and funny, but also this is escalating, and I've just realized it's never going to stop escalating. This is harder and more more strange and more impossible to sleep in a good way this time. Not like that Babadook motherfucker that I was seeing before. This is amazing, and it's never going to end. This is just going to get this roller coaster just goes faster and faster. That moment before you realize that he's going to get goopy later. That's the moment that he's number 8.
Yeah. Okay.
Lillian, you're number 8.
My number 8 is The Asset. And it kills me to put him this low. I mean, he still is in the top 10 because any Doug Jones character is going to make it into my top 10, including the pale man from Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh, yeah.
Legally.
Yes.
He has to be in the top 10. That's in Doug Jones's contract.
Obviously. Because the thing with the asset is, I was rewatching the movie and I was all over him when he was in the facility, and it was all longing looks and like teaching him to communicate and hands pressed against the side of the glass and everything. And I was like, okay, yeah, he's going to be in my top 5, obviously. But then the actual fucking starts, and it just looked really stiff and clammy and awkward. And just, he's really sweet, and he's a good communicator, and I think probably he would learn to make it better because he clearly is willing to learn. But I'm sorry, Asset. It's me. It's not you. I wish I could love you more.
Stella, you're number 7.
My number 7 is Predator. I just think in the way that Nosferatu had like a deep focus and like that was the good part of the bad part. I think that is all of the good parts of Predator. Predator has a fucking goal, and Predator will literally destroy a world to meet that goal. And if his goal is to fuck you, he's going to be the best at, or they're going to be the best at fucking you, right? Like they've trained for it. They have tricks. They have tactics. They have toys. They are fucking prepared, and they are ready to do it any which way, anywhere, everywhere, at all times. I am ready. And I think MeganBob makes a good point. Like, the chase is fun. Like let's do some foreplay through the forest, and then I want you to fuck me against this tree. Like,
let's make the whole jungle sticky.
Yeah, I feel like he can last like a long time. Like they're the type of lover that like edges you and like pulls out and is like, okay, run again, and you're like, okay. So like it lasts for a long time. And then it's also, like an annual thing, right? So it's just we meet in the forest once a year or whenever they're, whenever we negotiate, and then we do it. And we reconnect in this very visceral way many times over the course of our lives. It's beautiful.
We are making hard eyes right now.
Yeah.
My number 7 is The Asset. Really, I mean, the top of this list, honestly, a lot of people kind of just drifted up here because I wasn't going to die. Like things aren't falling off. Nothing's going to burn my skin. And that's kind of like, The Asset is right there in kind of a default position, which makes a lot of sense because the movie's great, right? I didn't read the book, but I watched the movie. The Shape of Water is great. But to me, it is fully just like projection on the creature. There's not very much there. It's like he's the situation that you want to be in, right? Where there's like somebody you want to fuck just kind of laying in your bathtub and they're into you and you're into them. And there's, this like non-threatening roommate who lives there who's going to look at the two of you fucking and be like, yeah, good for you, and close the door. That's all. That's the ideal situation. It could be any fish man. I mean, it could be, it doesn't even have to be sea life. Like, I'm not picky, whatever. Just as long as it's like a bathtub and the situation is copacetic, that's the value you get from The Asset. So that's number 7 for me on this list. Lillian, you're number 7.
Pinhead. If you heard me describe my erotic horror sweet spot with a xenomorph and you said, that sounds like Clive Barker. Yes, it does. It also sounds like really horny Flannery O'Connor, but sadly that has not entered our world. So with Pinhead, yes, I'll probably be flayed alive, whatever. But if Dr. Channard is to be believed from Hellraiser 2, I am only going to have one thing to say after Pinhead finishes turning all my pain and pleasure into a single white-hot nova of sensation. To think I hesitated.
I mean, look, it's Pinhead for me as well.
Yeah.
It's the attention, the precision. Also, this relentless fucking commitment to having you in whatever state that he wants for however long he wants you there. Like, yeah, sure. Hooks are kind of on my hard limits, but I still want him to make me cry. Yeah.
We're having a lot of heart eyes here. The top is like a lot of like, the sex would be great, but also the relationship would be really fulfilling.
And we die so beautifully.
Oh my God. Oh my God. He, bring you out at parties and be like, oh, this is my partner. Look, you're going to love how they scream. It is so cute. You're going to be like, oh my God, you thought about that? I do scream cute. Oh.
And he calls it playing.
Number 6. I'm starting number 6. And my number 6 is Frankenstein's monster. A lot of the top of this list for me is people who are like a little bit blank, but I just feel like they got a lot of upside. I'm really looking to, I don't want to say train somebody, but like, look at how much that guy in the cabin gets out of Frankenstein's monster in Bride of Frankenstein. He comes in, nothing. He is like just this bumbling nothing. By the end of it, he's like, he's drinking, he's smoking, he's dancing. He's just like, because the guy in the cabin likes it. As long as like the relationship is strong, Frankenstein's monster is just gonna, like, he doesn't know any better. He likes what you like. He's into what you're into. That doesn't have to turn into an amazing fuck, but it could. And I think if it were me in that cabin, then I think that it would. I think that's what I want. And so I think that's what Frankenstein's monster would give me. Would he eventually meet some tragic fate that involves me dying and him getting hunted? Yes. But I die in a lot of these scenarios. And at least in this one, he's like, he's sad, Like, that's, if I'm going to fuck somebody, then they could at least be sad. I guess I'm in a weird place with this episode.
My number 6.
All the rest of us are like, oh, he better not miss me. I'll be so fucking pissed.
My number 6 is also Frankenstein's monster. Full disclosure, I'm obsessed with Frankenstein. I have Frankenstein tattoo. Like, he's a big soft baby boy, and I love him, and I want it. And even if the sex isn't amazing, think of the hugs and the cuddles, and like he is teachable. I don't want to teach my partner everything, but I do want somebody who's willing to learn. And like, if you're happy, he's happy. That's nice. And I really just want a fucking Frankenstein hug and cuddle. I want it so much. I need it.
I know.
And you know what? Fuck those villagers. We will fight off the villagers and die together. And if he accidentally chokes me in the hug, that's a pretty okay way to go. Choked to death by love by my big soft boy.
Lillian, who's your number 6?
I am coming for the person who turns your number 6s down, because my number 6 is the bride. My queen. This woman does not pity fuck. If she is into you, she is into you. And she knows exactly what she wants. And I cannot rank her higher because I am not woman enough to hold her attention for very long. And the rejection is going to be fucking brutal. But until then, we are going to smash each other and the patriarchy. And she is going to tell me exactly what she wants from me. And I will give it to her.
MeganBob, you're number 6.
The asset. I know. You'd think this would be about the monster dick. It is not. It is like about this alien intelligence exploring you with this simultaneous like wonder, but also distance. You don't get to be fucked. You get to be physically discovered at every step of the way. And that's so appealing. But I will say he is so like I had the opposite problem that I think, I don't remember who it was had, but like, I don't want it to get better. I want him to always be fumbly and bad at this, or like, because I'm not here for him to be like, oh, now I know how to fuck a human. Like, no, get the fuck out. Like, you're not scary enough for me. Like, I can't stick around for this where you like become accustomed to this. That I have to have you at your scariest, and then after that, I'm gonna lose your number.
This is like that other famous monster movie, City of Angels, where Nick Cage turns into a human, not an angel anymore at the end, and it's supposed to be all romantic, but it's like the end of The Fucking Graduate, and it's like, well, what the fuck now? It's Nick Cage. No.
Which is still a yes.
Lillian, who is your number 5?
My number 5 is The Thing. And the thing with the thing is, if it's into you, then it's got all these bodies that it's controlling simultaneously, and they are united for one purpose, pleasing you. It is a one-thing orgy controlled by a single mind. And not only that, it can absorb the sexual knowledge of anyone it assimilates, so it's gonna be good. At least one of them knows what it's doing. It can look like anyone it wants, so you know that celebrity you think is super hot, but you wouldn't be too sad if an alien ate them? Yes, that one. Whichever one you're thinking of, that's the one I'm thinking of too. It can absorb them, and you can get to fuck them without fucking, like, them and know that they got eaten by an alien. There is, like, no downside to this. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is brilliant. This is like, you're revolutionizing, you're disrupting the world of Fuck, Marry, Kill with this idea. I love it. MeganBob, you're number 5.
All right. No, I took it seriously. Freddy Krueger. Like, if you're into this, if you're into me, I want these horny dreams for weeks on end before you actually fuck me. I want you to torment my every sleeping moment with sexiness until I just have a Pavlovian reaction every time I see a mattress. That sounds ideal.
Stella, you're number 5.
In my defense, I've never seen this movie and I didn't watch it, and my bisexual brain went, ooh, hot. So Syl is my number 5. I kind of Googled it and I was like, I don't know. There are not enough ladies on this list. She's going to go high just on virtue of being a lady and being hot and having tentacles, which I'm sad to learn don't come into play. But maybe they don't come into play when she's like just fucking dudes to get impregnated, but maybe they come into play when she's just fucking for fun. And theoretically, if we're fucking, it's just for fun because, you know, it's not going to work out in the way that she wants with me. Yeah, so this, I have no good arguments other than my queer brain went, yes, please.
I know, that does happen.
Specifically to the monster park, which I'm also very sad to learn is not the part that she fucks in. So, but again, if it's fucking for fun, maybe we can try some new things out. If she, you know, gets the breeding out of the way, she's got her babies or whatever, and then she's like, well, now I'm just regular horny. I'll be like, girl, I have some things I'd like to try. I have some ideas about your tentacle tits.
I have the most wonderful fanfic ideas now.
Yeah, right? Please write those, send them to me so I never have to watch these apparently horrible male gaze movies.
I don't want to say much because I don't want to step on whatever Kris might say later, but you have revolutionized Syl for me, and I kind of want to unpack this later so that we can share sexy Syl thoughts.
Yeah, sometimes the male gaze is you can rewrite it if you put it through like a lady queer gaze, and then you can be like, okay, it is still yucky, but maybe yucky fun.
You know what? That is 100% true. Having just watched Species and Species 2, those movies are like Republican takedown tweets that they don't realize are actually like the biggest self-burns, and they just put them right on Twitter. That is like, they're absolutely like the biggest unknowing satires of the way that this character is being treated. It's hilarious. My number 5 is Gremlins. Those who listen to the Muppets episode may know that I felt in a similar way about Doozers. I just like the idea of a little green team going to work on me. I don't know what it is. It just seems like I want to be a project. And it's a different energy though from the Doozers. The Gremlins, so chaotic. And I definitely appreciate the idea that like they don't have a long attention span. But if you're willing to roll with them, it's less of, I guess, like a project than it is. It's like a riot. Like they're rioting on you. So like if a particular gremlin drifts off, then fine. Like maybe I'm done with Lady Gremlin. Like maybe I want some other, maybe I want Mad Scientist Gremlin for a little while. They're just kind of like orbiting around me doing whatever. Gremlins know how to have fun. They have a good sense of humor. And I think if they're having fun with me, like if you're playing with the Gremlins, you're not trying to come down on them, then it's going to be great. It's going to be like when you're with someone who's like real irresponsible. And as long as you're the one who doesn't give them shit about it, then it's like they're a horrible person, but it's fun with you. It's fun like between the two of you. I want to be that for the Gremlins. I want to be like the cool person that the Gremlins fuck, and then like somebody else can worry about, the tremendous amount of damage that they're causing to the world.
Somebody else can get the bill.
Yeah. We're moving on to number 4 now, near the top of the list. MeganBob, who is your number 4?
Lucian from Underworld. It's like, but I know. You're like not in everything you want in a bottom, though. Like, you see that boy trusting his vampire lover not to drop him off the edge of a fucking cliff while she rides that dick. Crucially, he can top. He has the strength to do it. But that's why it means everything when he submits so pretty. And you get to have that, like, barely constrained power yielding to you and see those eyes dilate when you tell him, like, good boy. Ah, perfection. No, everything.
Stella, you're number 4.
Also Lucian. Legally, as somebody who is horny for werewolves at all times, he had to be in my top 5. Like, I want to, I used to joke, like, oh, want to fuck a werewolf, then be a vampire. And I'm like, just want to fuck a werewolf and be a werewolf, maybe. Like, I love a pack dynamic, where I know this whole podcast is about talking about fucking, but like maybe I don't want to talk about nodding that much on this podcast that everybody can hear, but like it's hot. It's very hot, especially if you have a breeding kink. Like,
we're all fans of like
all knots all the time. Let's go. And also like in his werewolf form, very hot. Because like I'm not about fucking this dog. Like he's super hot. We love the blue eyes. I like that. Out of like it's Not all werewolves have blue eyes. A lot of them have like yellow eyes, orange eyes. I like the difference. I like that he's a good leader. Also, like as a human, my number one like turn on in normal looking men is dirty and covered in blood and like.
Sorry, you said normal men with such fucking disgust. I'm so happy. Yeah, normal men.
That's the downside of the werewolf is that like part of the time they're like a normal dude or whatever. But Lucian is always covered in dirt, blood, and eyeliner, and that is good. Yeah. But also, he does seem like he does smell good too. Like he looks really dirty, but I think that he actually smells good. I feel like it is like a presentation because it's like a power thing. It's like I'm the leader of the werewolves. I have an aesthetic that I have to be on all the time, but also as a werewolf with a sensitive nose, he's going to make sure he smells good. Now I'm thinking about smelling. I think that would be really fun. Anyways, is he my favorite werewolf? No, but he's still a werewolf. Like, fuck all werewolves.
These are 2 of Stella's campaign promises. The thing everywhere and fuck all werewolves.
Yeah.
I will vote for you, Stella. I will
Thank
vote
you.
for you so hard.
It's the world monster fuckers deserve.
It's a niche platform, but it's a promising platform.
Well, pollsters famously underestimate how many of us are the thing, so I think you have a shot.
That's true.
Speaking of, my number 4 is The Thing. I'm always the one who picks up on like how the premise of this show changes things, and it completely changes everything about The Thing. Because I'm inclined to think that The Thing is at least a little bit sentient, like can at least act purposefully enough within whatever form it chooses. I think like that explains, I don't know, the behavior of the dog, whatever. Nobody cares about this part. What I do think is important though, is that if The Thing can fall in love, then it's going to totally change a creature that has only acted in like self-preservation in what we've seen, has only acted for like conquest. If it can, and like fall in love is a strong word, but like I assume it feels the same way about everybody else still that it feels about them in the movies. But it feels about you, like, I gotta fuck them. That creature invading the earth, but also trying to fuck you, like those are the 2 things on the to-do list. And all of the abilities everybody else has mentioned, like the ability to take on whatever form, the ability to kind of like spread to be like multiple beings. All of that just seems like a real good time, provided that you can like mitigate the damage, I guess. But what I would prefer is a scenario where I don't know that The Thing is the thing until the situation is already completely out of control. Like I just want to feel like, man, my life is going really well. Like for some reason, everybody wants to fuck me. I don't know why that is. And then like by the time I realize the world has been taken over, I'm like, well, like, what are you going to do? If I had known, I would have done something, but now spilled milk, like who cares? So assuming I can be ignorant of it, number 4 for me. It's a strong number 4. Lillian, who is your number 4?
My number 4 is Jekyll and Hyde. And I was also kind of going with the David Hasselhoff musical here, kind of combining it with Hammer's Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, which is a fucking delight. I highly recommend it to everyone. It is so much fun. Because they both they have a similar energy with Jekyll and Hyde, which is that Jekyll is into somebody, but he knows that he shouldn't be into them, and he's kind of holding that back, and then Hyde comes out and can just bang that person like a bass drum. So you're getting this, like, Jekyll who is in love with you, but can't admit it to himself, and he's shy and tender and hesitant and trying to take care of you in whatever way he can. This like sublimated sexuality, and it's supercharged with this yearning that he can never fully let out. And then he turns into Hyde, and Hyde's got all of that sexual tension just exploding out of him or her, and you just fuck like crazy, and it's amazing, and also really dangerous, and what more could I ask for?
And then you get them to be shy about it again later, which is like...
There's a scene in the Jekyll and Hyde musical where, like, he's treating the sex worker that he's, like, you know, had wild sex with his Hyde, but also bruised her and banged her up, and he finds out that he's the one who did it, and he's, like, tenderly patching her up, and he's like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that this happened to you, but he's apologizing for doing it, and just, oh, it's so sexy.
All right, we're on to the top three. Stella, you're number 3.
Pinhead's my number 3, and it's a big feels for me.
Yes!
I'm sorry, the Hell Priest is my number 3. I worship at the altar of Clive Barker. He is a fucking like sexy, messy dude. I mean, he brought us Candyman, he brought us a Pinhead. And honestly, I know that it's just like Pinhead's the one, but like it's a package deal. It is Pinhead, and it is Chatterer, and it is Butterball, and it is the female. Like they come as a whatever the word for trio is for 4 quartet. Is that what the word is?
Yeah, there you go, a quartet.
They come as a quartet. His voice is so sexy. God, his voice could do it on its own. But also, like, I exist in a world where I've only read Hellbound Heart and seen Hellraiser 1 and 2. I refuse to watch past that because I like to live in this world where they're anti-heroes, where they are really about pleasure and pain. And the opening couple, like, chapters of Hellbound Heart are so fucking sexy and wet. And fleshy, and there's a lot of fluids, and it's overwhelming, and it's like, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me, and it's this like awful loop. And I'm not into super BDSM stuff, but like if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna fucking do it, and I'm gonna do it with the Cenobites. And also, like, if I'm there long enough, there's a good chance that I'll get to turn into a Cenobite too. So I'll get brought into their fun little like sexy club, and then I'll get to wear cool outfits and have a vagina in my neck. And that seems like a transformation that I'm here for. Also, did I talk about his voice? Holy shit, his voice. And there's like the religious aspect of it too. Like, I'm not a real religious person, but like it's a priest kink. This is a daddy kink. Like Pinhead he's literally called the Hell Priest. Like, yeah, I want to worship him, and then I want to sit at the feet of the female while she's on her literal throne made of skulls and jawbones. Amazing. The Cenobites are so fucking hot. Unbelievably hot. And all of the squelching noises. I'm excited. We have to move on because I'm like getting worked up a lot, actually. I'm like losing like a coherent thought and just thinking of like noises and grunts. Like, we have to move on.
I'd say I want to unpack that later, but the only thing that I want to pack is that I think we just became instant best friends.
Yeah. You get it.
I also want to put a flag down on this for unpack this later, but it's a very specific thing. I want to give you time to think about it. In that segment, I want to know what you would be called in the credits if you were the Cenobite with a vagina in your neck. So we can get back to that later. You have time to think.
I get a name. I'm not just the female too. 2.0.
The other female. Yeah.
The other female.
My number 3 is Gozer. I'm very attracted to the idea of cosmic annihilation. I think I can relate to it especially because if you know from the extended universe, Gozer has this thing with his sister Tiamat, who loves the chaos of life. And Gozer is like, you know what? Let's not deal with the constant vicissitudes of life. Let's just be genderqueer, sit in the throne, and then just fucking shut it down. How about that? Which is great, which is fun. And also, I want to point out, you choose the destructor form, right? Why? Why does this guy care? Why, or this girl, this anything you want? Why do they care about the destructor form? Somehow, it is just important that you have the annihilation that is right for you. And I just feel like, not for me, but for Ray, being stomped to death by the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, that was his, forget being killed by a tiger. That is natural. That is right. That is justice. And I don't know what that is for me, but I feel like maybe Gozer could get it out of me. And then whatever form of annihilation is calling to me specifically, Gozer can give that to me after a lot of pageantry too. A whole, there's going to be a building that I go up, but there's going to be other people involved in this. There's going to be, the gatekeep, the whole thing. So this is a set piece, cosmic level fuck. I'm super into Gozer. Lillian, you're number 3.
My number 3 is the Predator. And I know it's not about what they look like, but part of it is what the Predator looks like because, the face notwithstanding, they've got smoking hot bods. They've got the musculature and the everything. They've got the grabbable dreadlocks. Just there's a lot to love about the Predator's design. But there's also, I have, if you're on the Patreon, then you saw me rhapsodizing about Shan Yu. I have a real thing for, the warrior who sees you as his warrior queen and, respects you as an equal. And I don't know why the Predator would see me as his warrior queen. Maybe I I don't know, go and defeat words with my writing or whatever. But whatever the reason is, if he's into me, then that's what's going on there. And he sees me as an equal, and he's going to be my fierce, loving, protective warrior man. And all I had in here was a note about, it's going to involve some kind of ritual hunting aspect. I didn't have anything beyond that. And you all wonderfully provided the ritual hunting aspect, and I am super into it. So, Predator, all the way.
MeganBob, who is your number 3?
Nosferatu! Jesus fucking Christ, a sad, obsessive, lonely fang man. He's a sad Cape Peepums. I'm so horny for it. He's just gonna look at you like you're the most perfect thing that's ever come into his life. I don't care if he's good at sex. Sometimes that's enough. As Kit said, I'm gonna teach him. I mean, it's gonna go real bad for a long time. I don't care. He's gonna look he's gonna make the most pathetic noises when he comes. It's gonna be so cute. Oh.
All right, we're on to number 2. And my number 2 is Syl. I feel real bad about it. I am, this happened with Star Trek too. Sometimes you come on a podcast as a straight guy and it's you gotta sit here and you just gotta cop to it. But I want to say in my defense, the thing about Syl too is specifically Syl, because the species alien is different in the different movies. It's different people. Syl is from the first one. Syl is the most kind of unrestrained, the most alien killer. It's a wonderful situation where Syl doesn't understand a lot of human stuff because of unfamiliarity, but she has the ability to pick things up. So she learns language really quickly. She's definitely intelligent and has a level of sophistication, but there's a lot of shit that she just doesn't know yet. So there's a lot of upside. You get the monstrous part of Syl. That's great. The danger, the tentacles, the spines on the back. That's fantastic. But also, at a certain point, I think, as Stella pointed out, if somebody would just let her keep her baby instead of, spoilers, killing it with a flamethrower, then you could just hey, you got a kid now, time to settle down and fuck right, moms do. You can have fun now. It's fine. She's still going to have certain instincts, but there's no reason to think that she can't fuck without killing. Also, her alien abilities, very versatile, lots of different ways that she could have fun with those. She's never been given a chance in any of these movies to evolve into anything more. than this man-killing monster, and for good fucking reason, too. If you look at the way that she's treated in those movies, Species 2 starts with somebody just burning her with acid as a display for military authorities. And that's the character who's like, now don't forget, I'm here to protect you. I'm here to make sure this doesn't go too far. Here, just let me put you in this V-shaped blue garment and spray you with acid. So nobody's ever treated Syl like I would treat Syl, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I feel like I may well not get killed.
I hope that works out for you.
Lillian, you're number 2.
Gozer. There's the agility, there's the lithe body, there's the growly voice, there's when they caress Vince Clortho's head and he leans into it and his eyes are all slitted with pleasure, and I'm like, I never thought I was interested in puppy play, and yet here we are. And that's before even thinking about all the stuff that you said, Kris. That's blowing my mind. So, Gozer.
MeganBob, you're number 2.
Big feels. It's Beetlejuice. He's shameless. He is like the most filthy, shameless hedonist about the shit that makes him happy. And just this person who has no shame or hesitation about what they want to do, what they want you to do to them, what they want from you. Like, and they relish it. They're delighted by their own shamelessness and are like proud of it. Oh my fucking God. No, it is crucial to me that whenever he's like, I'm going to rail you so hard, like right in the middle of this fucking grocery store and no one's going to know except me and you. I need to know that there is no apology coming. There's no caveat coming. The only thing that's coming is us. And I don't, like, that's, find me the person who claims that they don't want to go pick out eggs with ecto-jizz running down their thighs. I'm going to call them a goddamn liar. Jane Austen didn't know shit. This is the truth universally acknowledged. Like, this is what you want from life, is to just have this fucking filth ghost rail.
This filth ghost.
He's so nasty, though, and I love him. Oh, he's so nasty. Okay, I need to go lay down.
Stella, you're number 2.
My number 2 is The Bride of Frankenstein, or not The Bride of Frankenstein, you know, the bride who rejected Frankenstein. I just find that really relatable. It's a curse of a bisexual that there's like a few men that I like, and then the rest I'm like, I don't think so. I think I'll just be thirsting after these women. And I feel like I would see her run away and I would be like, yeah, girl, I'm on your side. Let's be best friends about it. And then we would fall in love and we would have a really nice time. And also, I think that inherently her, how angry she is at like the world that she did not ask to be brought into would really translate to sex in a fun way, where she's just like got a lot to work out and she's like, I'm doing the exact opposite that these men wanted me to do, and like we're gonna fuck so hard and so good just to like fuck both of them figuratively and never literally. So I feel like that, and I just needed to put her up high because she's, you know, I know it's not about looks, but also she's banging hot, guys. Come on, like she's so hot. And then we would have like a fun, like gothic aesthetic together. We could like do each other's bangs. Like I feel like it would be good. So very intense, angry, smash the patriarchy sex, and then also we can share each other's clothes.
The dream.
The dream.
So now we're on to number 1, and fortuitously, my number 1 is also The Monster's Bride. I think, I forget what you said, MeganBob, but it's wrong. Whatever it was, it's wrong. I remember thinking that at the time.
Okay.
The thing is, she's not just like a regular person. You look at the way that this character is performed, this like bird-like quality, this like tentative quality. The thing is, you have to understand, the person who like looks at you and like flits across the room to stand and like look at you with those big eyes, like, I don't know. that's not a person who doesn't fuck. That's a person who fucks. It's just, there's a process, right? You have to invite that person in. You have to gain that person's trust. You have to make a rapport with them. You know, it's not even about like tempting them into it. It's just like on a deeper, like on a nonverbal level. You have to establish that affinity with them where that same energy is going to like open up to you. And I'm not saying anybody can get that. I'm not saying the monster, like if he just hung in there, then pretty soon it would have worked out. They would have little monster babies running around. This is not the monsters. That's not who she is. But I'm just saying, if you're the right person for it and you can establish that rapport, there is something about getting to that level with that person who's like, at first, like wide eyes, like, what? Once you get to that place with that person, that's amazing. So yeah, far and away, way more than Syl. Got to be the Monster's Bride for me. What about for you, Lillian?
The biggest feels. Candyman, 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 Candyman. I do not care about the bees. I do not care that he has not washed that hook in 150 years. Tony Todd is gorgeous. His voice is hot buttered rum, and his dialogue is straight out of Clive fucking Barker. The pain, I can assure you, will be exquisite. Yeah, it will. He's genteel and soft-spoken, but underneath that is the quiet menace and the capacity for violence, which, if you have talked to me for 5 seconds, hi, I'm Lillian Carlisle. Have we met? He's got that hypnosis thing going where Helen goes from 0 to subspace in 2 seconds flat.
Oh, and shit.
Even more than that, like, yeah, he's a lying, emotionally abusive murderer, you know, Phantom of the Opera style, whatever. On, yeah. But just like with the Phantom of the Opera, he really does desperately want you when he's into you. Like, the way he says, be my victim to Helen, it's not just a command, it's a plea. There's this real, like, fear me, love me, do as I say, and I will be your slave energy there that is so fucking hot and appealing. I will be your victim, Candyman. I will be your victim so hard. Y'all are sleeping on Candyman, and that is okay, because he is all mine.
MeganBob, who is your number one?
Jekyll and Hyde. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. That is the peak of fuckability for me. Like, because I want them both. I love a sad nerd so much. Like, oh my God, you stayed up all night doing something stupid? Like you were meddling in the affairs that you should not meddle in? I want to eat you alive, you dumb baby. And then, like, also, he's not going to know what to do with that. But then he turns into a fuck monster who totally knows what to do with that. But then also, I get to be predatory with the nerd. Like, I get to be, like, a sub and a dom. Like, and I get the person who will be the forever wow boobs and the guy who will hold me down. This is a nuclear bomb designed to destroy me specifically. I am like just wrecked at the idea of this combination. I read it whenever I was young. It has stuck with me forever. I'm just like, I want all of it, and I want to put it in my mouth. It's so powerful.
What I love about yours, Bob, is that I have to wait because the sound could still be going, and it's just not coming across through my headphones. Give it some space. All right, so I guess we're closing with you, Stella. Who is your number one?
My number one is the asset. He's physically so fucking hot. Like, he is one of the most monstrous looking people on this whole list. Like,
yes.
he is a capital M monster. But also the way that they communicate almost completely with just their body language. There's something so sensual about that. And I know y'all don't think that, like, it would transfer. And, like, I know, like, in the movie the first time or whatever, it's not that great. But, like, you know, they're nervous. It's new love, whatever. I think eventually it would transfer really well. Also, shamefully, like, he fucking turns her into a monster at the end, and I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Not only do I get to fuck this monster, but I get to become a monster queen. Yeah, let's go. And I think the reason for me that he is number one is because he is one of the most monstrous looking, but still in a sexy, fun way. Like the Fly, yeah, is super monstrous, but is like goopy and maybe not a fun way. And like, don't get me wrong, I love all of the Cenobites, but they're still pretty human underneath. Like we know that they used to be humans, and the asset is just otherworldly. And the more you learn about him, the more you have questions. And I just feel like you could spend a whole eternity learning each other. And I love that, what you said, MeganBob, about him, like, you are almost like a sexy science experiment to him. He is like learning your body. I think that from the fumbly stage to like, you know, I think it will end in a not fumbly stage. I'm sorry to say, MeganBob, but in my fantasy, from the fumbly stage to the we're fucking on our fish carcass thrones or whatever, you know, like I'm here for every stage. I'm here for the exploration. I'm here for all of the gills. And oh, is he slimy? Is he smooth? Is like he's got those rigids. There's so much texture. Oh, yeah. There's so much like I want to lick his back spine. Ugh.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's on the to-do list. 100%.
On the to-do list. Also, you know, meta-textually, it's Doug Jones. It's very fuckable. It's just he makes the most fuckable monsters. I don't know if he's doing it on purpose, but oh boy, they're all fuckable.
All right, well, that's it. We have identified the most fuckable monsters from this list of iconic movie monsters. And so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens when we tabulate all these scores. But that involves a spreadsheet, so it's not going to be quick because I'm in charge of it. So in the meantime, let's turn to a segment that we do, I think, mainly so that I can try to make these numbers fit together. Let's unpack that. Yeah, Stella, I wanted to ask you about Gozer because it's counter to the text, frankly, that Gozer would not give you, like, not necessarily what you want, but I guess what you fear, which is mainly what we're talking about here on this list. Don't you, like, what do you think if Gozer's standing there before you saying choose the form of the destructor before he, you know, goes down on you or whatever is going to happen, or I guess she probably, what is it? Like, what is, and does it not please you? Is there no destructor that's going to do it for you? What are you asking for?
Okay, I feel like I have to like out myself a little bit. I did not rewatch Ghostbusters, and I had only seen it a long time ago, and because of a lot of the toxic fandom around it, I have not revisited it. So I did some just like reading about Gozer and them being like, oh, so they're like an ancient god, and I looked at pictures and I was like, yeah, super hot. So I like made a blanket call and really defended it with my gut. and am being totally checked on it. So now maybe I would, but I still feel like it would still be mid for me, but maybe mid for different reasons. Yeah, so I don't have a good answer for that, but maybe my reasons for them being mid were not right. But I still would rather step on Chucky more than get pleasured flying Gozer. And that's fair.
Yeah, that's very fair.
I feel like okay. You went all in on this self-annihilation kind of, or cosmic annihilation thing. But not positive on Pinhead and not positive on this kind of like this coming apart, this like being taken apart thing that I'm very, Kris, why is it just they're too gooey? Because like you can have a kind of cosmic annihilation. Now, granted, a very like private, personal one. You're not going to like necessarily die. You will die eventually. But you know, why is Pinhead different for you?
I mean, to me, it's totally different. Pinhead is more of a Tiamat vibe, right? The sibling of Gozer who wants the chaos of life. Maybe when I was younger, but I'm tired. I don't want. I'm done with the chaos of life. I just want annihilation. Pinhead doesn't want to give me annihilation. Being flayed alive endlessly. That's the opposite of annihilation. Like, I might as well just stay alive and go to work if I fucking want that.
That is fair. It is endless wonders that he has to show you.
Exactly.
There is no like religious experience that you're gonna have with Gozer or that me and Lillian are gonna have with the xenomorph. It is an endless experience until you either, I don't know, I guess fold it on yourself as like a weird black hole, or you become a Cenobite.
Yeah, which doesn't seem fun either. It reminds me of like Mark Twain's story about like going to heaven and seeing like the pile of harps and shit from when everybody got bored of like singing eternally and left to do other things. Yeah. That is what Cenobite hell would be like at a certain point. You're going to see hooks laying everywhere, people's bondage gear just like strewn all over everything. Like at a certain point, fuck this. Like it's fun to go to the club, but you got to go home, right? Like at a certain point.
That is one of my favorite things about Pinhead, though, is his like, this is my 9 to 5 energy of like, this is my job. Like, I do love it, but I'm here just to do a good job. And my good job is ripping your soul and flesh apart forever.
And that's part of why they constantly want to be bringing in new people to play with, because otherwise, they're going to get bored and maybe you're going to scream in a new and different way that's going to be more exciting.
In a cute way.
Yeah, in a cute way.
That they can show off.
At parties. Cenobite parties.
Oh yeah, because it's always in public,
amazing,
right? Like even if it's like
100%.
a private public, there's always multiples of them. Like it is.
Oh,
that's part of the pain and the pleasure and the humiliation. Like this is not just for you.
Even if you are alone with Pinhead is streaming it on Twitch or whatever, like going, oh no, this is paid content at all times.
For sure. Like, he loves his job, but he has a job to do.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with the read that he's going on Twitch. I think he's exhibiting this for sure, but to the other Cenobites. I think that going to Cenobite Hell is like being the new person in an old LARP. That's what it feels like to me. And that is just not a good scene. Those people, everything is about like, oh, Chatterer is going to love this. Because remember that time we did blah, blah, blah? No, fuck that. I don't care. Like, go talk about this at Denny's. I don't need to be here.
Oh, wow.
But you see, I feel like the female really reins it in because she is, she's the one that has the fucking throne of like jawbones. Like she's the one that's like, pay attention. Nobody cares about your jokes. Put them on the good hooks.
And she has no time for Kirsty shit. Like,
No time for Kirsty shit. Kirsty,
Stella,
incredible hair.
Or Kris, you wanted to ask Stella about the Cenobite name.
Oh yes, so now's a good time. So Stella, did you come up with anything? If you were a Cenobite with a vagina on your neck, what would your name be?
I'm doubling down. I would be called the Flange. That's what I'd be called.
Amazing. Fucking amazing.
Great. Glad I asked.
Flange. Lillian, I wanted to unpack you about Nosferatu, but I see that whereas I am a person who's like, I might get cum in my eye, that sounds hilarious and adorable. You are not a person who wants that from a vampire fuck. And I see that we may just have different tastes that we look for in the vampire. I mean, I don't mind the like brooding fuck where they're, good at everything, but sad and pathetic. That's cute.
See, the thing is with a vampire fuck, I'm looking for a dom, and Nosferatu's not that.
Oh.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
But I see and respect and validate what Nosferatu means for you. He's just not that for me. Or rather, he is that for me, and that's not what I want, so...
I'm just like, how many pairs of underwear does this fucking vampire have to go through to get through one fucking sexual encounter? And that's so goddamn cute.
It's like everything I'm describing is just getting you happier and happier.
I know. Oh my God. No, as you described yours, I was like losing myself in rapture. So it's like, he's gonna watch me and masturbate from his fucking window? Oh my God. This is amazing. No, he's very important.
See, I don't want him to watch me and masturbate. I want him to be watching me through my window, and he's just building up all of this tempest of sexual energy, but it's only going to be released in or on me. So. I
know you You want a very specific flavor of vampire. I respect this. I mean, I also like that flavor, but I have a lot of time for the adorable sad vamp.
That's the like monster fucker growth in me. It's like as a teenager in my 20s, I was all about vampires, and now I'm like, give me a werewolf, give me a swamp thing, give me somebody who can hold.
Swamp thing
hold
is
me tight.
Jesus fucking Christ. Swamp thing is so goddamn hot.
God tier monster fuck.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, we can't even talk about it. Like, he's not on this list. We all just... Kris, are you on Team Swamp Thing? Would you fuck him?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. But you were about to be fucking crucified. You did not.
He breaks my no scientist mold, I guess.
Well, okay, we can't get into Swamp Thing's origin story. Nope. Putting that aside. Kris, you wanted to unpack, like, our perception of Syl. Lillian and my perception of Syl.
I think it was you, Lillian, who were saying that like you don't have what Syl is looking for. And to me, that is so freeing. That is exactly what we're looking for oftentimes when we talk about characters in less overtly sexual material, which is like a way in. We're like, well, this is why we didn't see them fuck the way we know they can fuck in the movie, is because like these circumstances were not right. And Syl was always in the situation of these hideous men who, I mean, I wanted to kill them. So like, I don't want to.
I'm gonna interrupt you there though, because there was the guy when she went to the hospital, and there was the guy who paid her medical bills and brought her home and didn't expect anything, and she was the one who was like jumping on his bones. And you got the sense that maybe he would have. He undoubtedly he did want to have sex with her, but he wasn't pushing anything. He was a perfectly good guy. And then there was the woman who, like, she went running naked into her car and was like, please help me. And the woman, from what we saw, it looked like she was going to take her home and take care of her. And, Syl tied her to her bed, not in a fun way. And, like, there were a lot of people who were being very nice to Syl. We saw, like, people were being kind to her when she was buying the clothes. The hotel guy was being nice to her. And none of them meant anything to her, and a lot of them ended up getting murdered horribly. So I'm just curious kind of what you think Syl would be looking for that you could offer, because simple kindness isn't enough.
First of all, that guy that she killed, she was being hunted at the time, and they were in a pool together, and she held him under the water. So I think she just wanted him to be quiet. She can breathe water for a little while, so why would she think he can't? I think that was an accident. But in Species 2, Eve, who is like a clone of Syl, is like the same character, basically. She's very attached to the scientist in that movie, who, just because she has some context, like somebody at some point taught her something instead of just experimenting on her and then trying to eliminate her when the experiment was over. So I think it's an ignorance of morality. She doesn't know that you're not supposed to kidnap people and cut their thumb off and, destroy them in like a car crash or whatever. Like she's just problem solving. She's just trying to figure it out. She's like, it's like a teenager, like, you're going to cut off some thumbs, but you learn from it, and like your later relationships benefit from that experience. So I think if you, especially once she was like not being hunted and not completely obsessed with like, with reproduction, she would really chill the fuck out, and you'd be able to like get through to her, because she, like, in Species 2, we see her, she's like painting her toenails, she's just hanging out.
In laboratory conditions where there are no men.
Yes, that's true. I think she has seen a man by that point, if I'm not mistaken. But she's still able to, she's still got the presence of mind to do her nails. It's not like she's just like standing there panting at the plexiglass.
I mean, are you like imagining a Mary situation? Like, you sound like you are kind of going, no, this is a long-term thing with Syl.
I don't know if I want to say long-term, but like, if you caught her at the right time, like maybe she just has fucked and killed a guy, and now this is just like, she's just hanging out, like she's got the rest of her day free. Then it doesn't need to be long term, because like I've caught her at the right moment, and like we can have a talk about it. So yeah, it doesn't need to be long term. It just needs to be like the right moment. And maybe I never know that she's a murderer. That kind of plays into a lot of these. How I don't know that they like killed children or whatever.
That is. Yeah, that is a difference for you.
Yeah, like, I'm hoping she just fucking killed a guy and then she's in the downtime where she's like hasn't turned back into her like lady body and is in her alien body. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool for me. But again, I've not seen these movies. This is just blind. I want to fuck that.
I'm fine for that. And she does fuck another alien in the alien form. So we know that she can do it. She may just not think that you want that if you're a human, but then you can tell her like, hey, baby, like you don't need this front. I don't need it. Show me those tentacle boobs. And she's going to be flattered and the tentacles are going to come right out, is my feeling.
That's what happens with my tentacles. They only come out when they're flattered.
Hey, Lillian, your thing on Freddy. Not that I think you're wrong, but I just think it's interesting. Like, per the premise of the show, do we think that Freddy, like, he can't, literally the only thing that gets him off is hurting you, even though he's totally into the connection? Like, in this context, into you means wants you to suffer. Because I see that for Pinhead, because Pinhead is like a weird alien, but Freddy is just like a shithead. And to me, a shithead in love is not exactly like that. Like, I can imagine Freddy being like just dumb, infatuated and trying to please somebody. So I don't know. Do you think he doesn't have that mode at all?
I think because the only time that I can remember that we see him being with someone, that he had a wife at one point and he ends up killing her because she's like going to find out his secret. And I don't know if he was into her or not. He seemed to like love his daughter, but he really just wanted her to like carry on his legacy, and he didn't care how much he was torturing and hurting her to do it. And then like there was in the remake, like I don't even want to talk about him being into somebody in the remake because it's just going to get triggering as shit. But it's, you know, it is this very like sadistic bullying. Like if he is into you, like basically his kink is your misery. So I wanna be into Freddy, like, because I love the character and he's very charismatic, and, you know, Bob was pointing out all of the wonderful potential that dream powers have, and Robert Englund, like, everything I've seen with Robert Englund, he is a gentleman's gentleman. But I have never seen Freddy enjoying anything other than systematically and sadistically breaking people down. And I think that being into you, he would just want to find new ways to do that, to watch you hurt. And, you know, and I get that that's kind of an odd thing to say for somebody who had Pinhead at number 7, but...
But he's like, doing it for your pleasure.
Exactly.
In Pinhead's mind, the pain and the pleasure are the same. Like, they are... So, but there's no pleasure in this argument.
Exactly. I read a thing one time where somebody was saying that Freddy is one of the most realistic serial killers that we get in movies because, you know, Hannibal Lecter, hot as he is, like, you know, he's smooth, he's suave, he's great.
He's having a good time.
He's having a good time. Yeah. But Freddy, all he wants to do is terrorize people who can't defend themselves because he's a shitty little bully. And there's nothing sexy about that. And I just, again, that seems to be where he gets off, and I'm not into that.
Yeah, that's totally legit. That is purely a premise question. Well, at some point, we'll have to call in the Hard Choices referee and get a ruling on.
Oh, good luck!
Do we have to turn them into someone capable of love in order to?
Well, we dealt with this with Kafka to some extent, and there was agreement that at a certain point there are limits. But I mean, I need those dream powers too bad. He better fucking love me, or I'm going to beat him up. Kris, Stella made a strong case for the smash the patriarchy, like queer women fuck with The Bride of Frankenstein. What are you? I don't get it. What is here?
The very fact that she has this reaction, because it's all physical acting with the Monster's Bride, right? I mean, it's the way that she reacts to being thrown into the situation. So this is literally the first thing that's ever happened to her. And like the level of like graceful rejection of the situation that she's been put into, that self-possession, and the fact that like on a whole like filmmaking level, the fact that she comes from the combination of Frankenstein and Dr. Pretorius, she's a very different creation from the monster. So there's just something that is like I think there's a sense in which the monster is meant to be an abomination, whereas it is the act of creation of the bride. The attempt to create a being that is for others is kind of the sin with the bride. She herself is an innocent, and there's something beautiful about her rejection of being for others. And that doesn't preclude the possibility, though, that you could have an actual connection by making her feel that there's mutuality. And then what you get is this lack of all this like baggage that's represented by the other characters in the story. Instead, you get this, a person, right? That's what you want. Like, it seems very simple, but especially on this list, like, I'm not going to get that from a xenomorph, She's, I don't know. People are beautiful. She's a person. So I don't know. I don't know if that answers your question.
It was very pretty. It was very lovely. And you know what? That is a beautiful thing to have said as the rest of us are like going, but so mean, so scary, so likely to chase us through the woods.
With our bandolier of dildos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to come armed, baby. And come hard.
Come hard.
All right.
That needs to be a tagline for something.
We have the final list now. And here are the results.
Let's get it.
At number 21, Pennywise. Down in the fucking sewer where he belongs. Number 20, Babadook. Number 19, Leprechaun. Number 18, I have him down here as The Fly, but he has a name. Seth Brundle is at number 18. 17, Chucky. Number 16, Freddy. 15, Xenomorph. Number 14, Gremlins. Number 13, Count Dracula. Number 12, Beetlejuice. Number 11, unchallenged, like straight up. Usually we have a big cluster in the middle. Median, Frankenstein's monster. Straight up.
Ooh.
Good hugs.
That feels right.
Number 10 is Syl. Number 9, Pinhead. Number 8, The Thing. Tied for number 7, Candyman and Predator. Number 5, Jekyll and Hyde. Tied for number 4, Lucian and Gozer.
Ooh.
At number 2, we have The Monster's Bride. And at number 1, we have The Asset.
Yeah, we did all agree he a good monster.
Yeah, lick that spine.
I bet though that spine, like, I bet it produces some like toxins or some shit that gets you real fucked up, and then you can have like an ayahuasca fuck, but like not the scary kind. I know I'm always pushing ayahuasca fucks on this show.
He would take care of you. He would be a good like trip like babysitter, I feel like.
Yeah.
This is sounding... Fuck. Bob, don't give us spine kinks. Keep it to yourself.
Spines can be... if you're a monster fucker, like, especially, like, transformations, they're shot from a spine, like, angle a lot. So you get, like, the hunch and the spine and the, like, cracking. So, like,
no, it's
if you're
yummy.
a monster fucker, you gotta be into spines.
Join us.
I don't know what Candyman and Predator look like. I just know that I want to be the unicorn so bad.
That seems like a fun fanfic. Like Predator comes to Chicago and runs afoul of Candyman. Yeah. All right. So, interestingly, despite the fact that I definitely feel like an outlier here, that is many fewer ties than we usually have. There's a lot of consensus on that list.
Yeah.
So very interesting. Yeah. And the median, uncontroversial Frankenstein's monster. I think everybody feels pretty comfortable with this whole list, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah. As long as Pennywise is in the sewers and the assets up top. Where
the universe makes sense.
So let's talk about our score for movie monsters in general. How many boners out of 10 do we give to the whole category of movie monsters? And we'll start here with Stella.
8. It's so high for me.
Okay. For me, I'm going to say like low. I feel like a 5.
Oh, that's not that low. That's the middle.
Yeah. I don't know.
But for every Syl, there's a leprechaun.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where real life goes. I guess I should key real life to like figure this out. But yeah, 5 for me compared to other fictional universes. What about for you, Lillian?
I was expecting it to be higher, but it's probably like a 6.5 for me because the top is so good, but the bottom is so bad. There are hard lines for both the please give me this all day, every day, and the under no circumstances.
Yeah. How about for you, MeganBob?
I think it's a 6 purely because, and this is unusual, but it's because I'm normally more positive on the middle, but the middle gets blah really quickly. And I just go, well, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say no, but this is not an excited yes. This is just I have to. This is important. Yeah, I can't give it higher than that because I'm not interested in the middle in the way that I would baseline basically be into most of the middle of the lists that I get in hard choices. So like even fucking, I swear to God, Mortal Kombat, even that middle I was probably more positive on than this middle, even if it was like very bland. Yeah, no, it's a 6.
Interesting.
The highs are so high, though.
The highs are extremely high.
They are.
Unless there's anything else about the final rankings and the ranking of the universe, then we'll move on to what we may have learned from this, if anything.
I learned that I would rather have sexy self-immolation than a mediocre fuck, but I'd rather have a good fuck than sexy self-immolation, so I think that says something positive about me.
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
I am pleased with my own personal healthy boundaries that Pinhead was not higher than number 7.
I'm surprised by, for me, how many of the ones near top were like, yeah, this fuck will be good, but also the cuddles will be real nice.
I know. That comes out very quickly in hard choices.
Well, and I also feel like when people think of monsterfuckers, they think of like all of the, tentacles and appendages and the fangs and the blood and like these people are nuts. But like if you dig down past one layer, it's usually, well, yes, Hades did tie me up and like fuck me in front of all of these people, but then he was really, really soft and brought me tea and blankets and it was really sweet. Like I like to cry in between my like BDSM like hardcore scenes.
Oh, yeah.
But not because of the emotions, but because of like, wow, you're just being so nice. Like these cuddles are really good.
Oh yeah, no. The goal here is definitely to be like, held in the embrace of a predator.
Yeah,
that's super special.
You want to be the unicorn. You want to be the special one. You want to be the Will Graham for Hannibal. Yeah. You want to be the one that's like, I don't want to change you. I just want to survive the experience.
Yes, I want to be the one you don't kill.
Yeah, I want to be the one that you don't kill that gets wrapped up in a soft blanket.
Yes.
I think I was surprised. I shouldn't be surprised, but I am surprised that the asset wasn't higher for me and that how quickly I was like, oh, I'm done. I'm out. Because like, I know I generally don't go in for romance, but I was like, but he's such a monster fuck. He's so monster fuck. And I thought that would be enough to overcome it, but I am too allergic to the idea of this part. Like permanently caring, like soft and enchanted partner. I'm like, no, fuck off. I can't be doing this. Give me this sad, tortured, like nerd fuck who's gonna like fuck me up and then cry about it. No, that's what I want.
And I guess for me, just Gozer. Pretty much everybody else fell where I expected, but it's like you were saying, Lillian, about like healthy, like tiers of what you would prefer. I feel like it's, if anything, like abnormally healthy for me, for this group, all the way through until the very top. And then it's like good sex at the top, but then like S tier, the end of all things. Fuck, that's what I really have been looking for. So yeah, that was, I guess, somewhat of a surprise.
Usually you don't find that out on a podcast, but I'm proud of you.
This is a special place that you've created, Bob.
Can I just say how much I love my fellow monsterfuckers? I thought I was going to be weird for having the xenomorph in the top 10. I found my people.
Right? Right? I know. It's also, Kris, I have to ask you, as the one who is not an avowed monster fucker here, have we seduced you into the lifestyle? Like, have we turned you? Like, even slightly?
Or do you at least feel like you understand the lifestyle?
What happened today was I was like at the career fair, and I was interested in your booth, and I went up to it, and you handed me what appeared to be a brochure, but it was just blank on the outside. And then when I opened it inside, all it said was acid cum. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't say that I'm persuaded, but I'm glad that I came.
Aren't we all?
Plugs. Who has things to plug?
So I have, like everybody else, a million podcasts. I'm one of the owners, co-producers of NYD Productions, and we have 3 main podcasts: Extracts, which is a fandom. It's a friendship fandom podcast where we show each other Star Trek, the original series, and X-Files for the first time, but we do it through thematic lens. And so you get to listen to my friend Aaron watch Star Trek for the first time, and you get to listen to me watch X-Files for the first time. Spoiler alert, it is a deluge of me finding out who Mitch Pileggi is and having a real fun time being like, Skinner? Can we talk about Walter Skinner more, please? I also do a podcast which is relevant to this one called Spooky 30s because I was really afraid of horror stuff until I wasn't. And then I was like, oh, is horror good now? And so I have people on to pick a property like Hellraiser. And then we do a bunch of academic research about it because you can graduate from grad school, but you can't take the nerd out of me.
Nope.
So we do a bunch of research and then we talk about it. So it's a lot of me learning about horror, both academically and then also through the lens of my friend's fandom. And you can find that at NYD Productions on all the things. And then you can find me at Stella_Cheeks on Twitter, where it's honestly like Wild Wild West. I have too many interests, and any day it's like, it's about wrestling, now it's about Supernatural, now it's about books, and now it's about Star Trek. And also I'm a burlesque dancer, so every once in a while there'll be my butt there. So it's worth it. It's a free website. So follow me on Twitter.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us for this spooky journey, for letting us cover this podcast in acid cum, as you know, was destined to happen for this October episode. We hope that you are the person who survived, that like you did it, that the rest of us are the thing now. And like, but you're not, you did it. And like, you're the chosen one. I don't know what you're going to do with that responsibility, but I look forward to finding out.
Get fucked by the thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Look, you knew that was what was going to happen whenever you downloaded this podcast. So we hope it works out for you. And come back in November to see what the hell we're up to then. All right. Bye. This has been Hard Choices. If you want to show your support and get even more goofs from behind the scenes, visit patreon.com/hard choices and become a patron. You'll get exclusive voting rights and participation in every weird new thing we do. If you like the show, please consider leaving a 5-star rating and review on the podcatcher of your choice. It shows people what's fun about the show and makes it easier for others to find it too. Hard Choices is produced by MeganBob. Our theme song is Funk Me by Soundroll. This piece and all music used in this production is licensed through Uppbeat. You can find details in our show notes and listen to more great tunes at uppbeat.io, spelled UPPBEAT.io. The Hard Choices logo is designed by Claire Mulcairn. If you'd like to get into touch with us, look for the Smash Fiction Fan Faction on Facebook and join the conversation. Thank you so much for listening and hanging out with us. You're a peach!